If you're a business owner looking for business funding, I'm sure you heard of the term credit stacking. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what that is and give you a full breakdown on how to do it exactly like a boss. I'll show you exactly how you should have your business structured, your personal credit and business credit, and give you some banks that you can actually go ahead and try this on as soon as today. So let's head over to my computer and break everything down. All right, we are at my computer, and this video is going to be about how to credit stack like a boss to fund your business. Now, will this work for your industry? I hear this a lot of times. People think, there's a certain industry that they're in that maybe won't work. And actually, that is sometimes the case. There is ways around it. But one thing I want to talk about first is your NAC code. Okay, this is very, very important. This is basically how banks are able to determine what industry of business that you're in. So as we see here on this list, there's a bunch of different sectors here. We got mining, utilities, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, all these things. And why this is important is because banks have certain industries that they deem high risk. Okay. And every bank has different industries, different sectors that, again, they deem high risk. So what you want to do is make sure that when you're dealing with these banks, you're aware of that and you're able to know what's high risk, right? Sometimes it's, I would say in most cases, real estate is always on that list. Sometimes construction is on that list. Here recently, some banks are even considering consulting high risk, right? So there's a lot of industries that can be high risk. So you want to make sure that one, you're not in one of those industries before applying to any banks or doing anything like this. And two, if you are, there's ways around it, like, again, changing your NAC code. Also, too, if you have anything that can kind of tip them off that you're in one of these industries in your LLC or entity name, that's something you want to look to potentially change as well, so you don't run into these red flag issues. All right, so we got the NAC code and industry stuff out of the way. What will you need to actually be able to effectively credit stack and fund your business? So this is a complete business structure cheat sheet. Okay, so the first thing we have here is business docs. That means your articles of organization. That means your official EIN letter that you got from the IRS. All those things, operating agreement as well. Some banks ask for that. You're going to need to have that in place. Also, a business website. Doesn't have to be a fancy website, just something really basic. Business phone number. Don't use your personal phone number and have that listed as your business phone number. You want to have something official. Doesn't have to be necessarily a 1-800 number per se, but just having a official business number. Also, too, I know we went over the no red flag business names in the prior slide there, but only having optimized credit profiles with 25% plus ownership. So we're going to get into what an optimized credit profile is in a second. But when you have multiple owners on the business, if anybody that is more than 25% or has more than 25% ownership of the company, they're going to be required to be on any type of funding application. So you want to make sure that anybody that's not on the application, make sure they're not listed as an owner to make it easy. All right. And then any previous business funding utilization, we're going to talk about that on one of these next slides here, because that's also very important. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications so you will be notified every time I drop a new video. Now, on this screen right here, again, if you are already subscribed, you may have seen this before, but this is what a optimized credit profile should look like. Okay, so right here, 774 FICO score. That's very good. There's multiple different FICO scores, guys. So you want to make sure you can understand which bank is going to pull that. We're going to go over that too with some of these strategies that we built out here in this video. So stay tuned for that. But total accounts, this is like your average age of accounts. This is also very important. Banks are starting to pay more attention to this as well. So this means, not potentially having a thin credit profile. 10 years, which is length of credit history, that kind of goes into the average age of accounts sector there. Now, bare minimum, you want to have at least about 2 years. Is there some banks that'll let you slide with a year? Absolutely. But, 10 years is great. Having very low inquiries, especially in like a 3 to 6 month span. Typically, banks don't want to see more than like 2 or 3. So, this person here has 4 total, which doesn't seem like there's none in the last 3 months. So that's good. revolving utilization, guys. This is very, very important. Make sure you got this under 10% at least, so you can maximize your funding opportunities. And then no derogatories, no collections, no late pays, no charge-offs, anything like that. Make sure you guys have that stuff all cleared out. So this is for my people that already have some business funding and they're looking to get more. You want to make sure those cards or lines of credit, whatever you have, the utilization is manageable and low as well, because a lot of these banks do pull business credit now. So you want to make sure the utilization is in check. Now, it doesn't have to be as low as the personal side, but I always recommend to have it at least under 40% to be on the safe side on your business credit profile. And these are some of the business credit profiles that banks are typically going to pull. PayDex, which is done in Braz, then you have the Experian, you have Equifax, and then you also have FICO, and then you have the Small Business Financial Exchange as well, which is a popular one that people like to pull. So these are all, major business credit bureaus that a lot of these banks will report to. Sometimes they'll report to one, sometimes maybe two or three. So you hear the term credit stacking a lot, and really all this means is that you're just putting together a list of 3 to 5 banks, give or take, and really no bank is seeing what the other bank is doing. All right. And how you do that is by knowing, the data points for these banks, what they pull, what they're looking for, all these things like that, and put together a list of banks that typically will pull from different bureaus, or some that make soft pull and some that hard pull, and they're all doing it from different bureaus. Okay, so this is kind of how you do this. So I'm gonna give you guys a mock funding strategy for the state of Nebraska, and I know this can be a lot for people, guys. So if you just want to skip all this and kind of fast track this entire process and have us build these strategies out for you and do all this, go ahead and click the link in the description or the pinned comment. You could book a call with us, see exactly how we can be able to do this for you, so you don't have to do it on your own. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the list of banks that we're going to kind of go through is First Citizens Bank, US Bank, FNBO, which is First National Bank of Omaha, and then Wells Fargo. So this list is really kind of thought out and planned out, because all of these banks are in Nebraska, one, okay, and then two, they're all for the most part pulling from different bureaus. Okay, all right, so we are on First Citizens website. And typically with regional banks like First Citizens, you're always going to want to go ahead and set up a business checking account. Typically, they got stipulations where you can't get access to the financial products unless you set up a business bank account. So that's always the first step, is to set one of those up. Now, at the making of this video, First Citizens does have options for $0 monthly maintenance fee accounts. So that's always what I recommend, unless you're a business and you need some type of different transaction history or, higher limits, things like that, you may want to go for something like this. But for most people, the business banking right here, the simple one, that's going to be all you need to get going. All right. So First Citizens does have SBA funding, lines of credit, all that stuff like that. I'm going to focus on just the business credit card for now, because this is pretty much what everybody can get for the most part. They have a couple different options here. My recommendation would be to go for the low interest business credit card, because it has the longest 0% interest APR period. Okay, when you're getting business funding, especially business credit cards, and you need it for startup capital, working capital, whatever it is, you want to get the longest 0% interest period you possibly can, so you can maximize that time with no interest to be able to use it to grow and scale your business. All right, so my recommendation here for First Citizens would be to go ahead and get this low interest business credit card right here. And this is, again, no annual fee. It doesn't have rewards, but the 0% interest period is really good because it's 12 months. All right. So, they got a lot of cards, guys. So, you can kind of cycle through this, but you'll see here, it'll cut that period down from 12 months to 9 months. Okay. So that's something you want to make sure you're aware of. Now on to FNBO. This is another regional bank. They're only in a select few states. Again, we're doing Nebraska here, like a mock funding strategy for Nebraska. So that's why this bank is on this list. Very good bank. They got some good business credit cards as well. well. This will be my recommendation for this one. It's a 2% cash back on everything card. You get 0% interest APR for 6 billing cycles as well. The reason I got this one selected here because it does have the 2% cash back on every single purchase. That is a really good setup, and they only have 2 cards anyway. The other card is the secured one, which I don't recommend. This is for people that, you know, maybe have challenged credit, which if you have challenged credit, I don't recommend you trying to credit stack it with this method anyway. So for FMBO, this would be the card I would actually recommend, would be the Evergreen Business Edition credit card. And with FMBO, just like First Citizens, they do have lines of credit, term loans, SBA loans, all that stuff like that. Just make sure when you're trying to go for stuff like this, a lot of banks these days, they're wanting to have tax returns. Typically, they're not no docs a lot of the times. There are some banks that are no docs, and we got videos on the channel with those banks. But typically, guys, again, you're gonna want to have a tax return because that's just the way the industry is kind of heading and trending right now for a lot of these regional banks, big banks, things of that nature. Not saying it's impossible to get no doc lines of credit, but it's becoming harder and harder to do so. All right. Now, listen, if you already have a 680 plus credit score, and maybe you've been trying to do something like this on your own for a while, or you just don't have time to sit down and build these strategies out and figure out all this credit stuff, what you can do is you can click the link in the description or in the pinned comment, and you can go ahead and book a call with us. Now, on this call, we'll go ahead and sit down with you, analyze your business, see if it makes sense for us to work together to actually build you a custom funding strategy, get access to all of our banking contacts in our database of information to be able to go ahead and build you a quick, fast track strategy to get your business funded in under 30 days. Okay, so if you know that's you're ready to kind of just fast track this thing and just kind of invest into a solution and not waste time anymore, go ahead and click that link, and we'll definitely be able to hop on a call with you and go through the process. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed the content today. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications so you will be notified every time I drop a new video. And if you want to see the fastest path to 100K in business funding, go ahead and click the video on the screen right now. This is a recent video I did where I hop on the whiteboard and I really go through our Omni Growth strategy, at least the first part of it, and show you how to literally leverage your credit, how to build it out, how to actually get a for real optimized credit profile to be able to start doing credit stacking stuff like we're talking about in this video. So if you want to learn that, go ahead and click the video on the screen right now, and I'll see you in that one.